Hey, what's up everybody? It's Thunderbob here, and tonight I'm checking out some more Diablo 4, as I have been a lot lately. Been big into this game, though that last patch that dropped kind of hampered my enjoyment a little bit, but they have made some corrections since then, and the first season started. I'm playing a Necro. I'm actually playing a Necro and a Druid, but I'm mostly focusing on the Necro right now. I'm up to 42, and I just completed the Capstone dungeon. This is post finishing the Capstone dungeon. There's the boss right there. And I started at 41 and I hit 42 during this run. This video will be a full playthrough unedited, just for posterity. And I'm going to show you my setup. I'm really enjoying the Necro, like so much with these Malignant Hearts. It is such, I feel like the Necro has the best Malignant Hearts. It's a really fun kind of skill set they have. I'm going to show you the skills I'm using, the Malignant Hearts, the gear. Obviously, I'm not into Paragon yet, but let's just go through. I'll show you the skills I'm using to start with. Using Bone Splinters for my basic skill, just to get my essence. And we're going to down here. As I was leveling up, until about 20, I was using Blood Surge. I feel like Blood Surge is perfect low level. If you can get a decent weapon, that initial blood draw will just kill everything on the entire screen, and it'll so accelerate the beginning of your game. But around 20, it starts to fall off a little bit, where that initial like screen clearing effect doesn't happen anymore, and you have to really get close to enemies for the Nova to work. So I think until about 20, Blood Surge is really nice, but then I shifted over to Bone Spear, and I got Bone Spear maxed out. I was using this one until I got the item this imprint. So my primary attack makes enemies hit beyond the first vulnerable. So this kind of makes it where I don't need this anymore. So now I'm using this one. And we got 3 points here. Eventually I'll put 3 points into Perfectly Balanced, I think. I just don't have the essence and the generation for it right now, but end game I'll probably do that. Got 3 points here for the chance to produce a corpse at my target's location. Bone Spear has a very high lucky hit chance. So on bosses, you're not, usually don't have a lot of additional enemies, so you're not getting corpses for your skeletons and things like that. This is your solution. You get tons of corpses from Hewed Flesh. Coming down here, Blood Mist, it's like your only get out of jail free card. It's really nice. Get some healing out of it. And Corpse Explosion. I am got one more point to max this. I had it maxed, but I've kind of rearranged my points a little bit, and I've got down to the extra damage because I'm stunning a ton of guys because of my corpse tendrils, and I'm slowing guys and everything. I might try this out later. I really haven't given it much thought. Like the initial explosion that Corpse Explosion does, I really like. I do want to play around with Blighted Corpse Explosion though. And then we got 3 points just to keep my skeletons alive. This is really nice because I've got the Malignant Hearts that are just constantly consuming corpses. And I get this even if I don't click the button. If this is auto cast by my Malignant Heart, I still get the essence. So you really go from like 3 constant essence generation to 9. Like every second I'm getting 9. So I'm getting almost like triple the base essence generation because of this and that auto cast. And then we got this 9% damage whenever you consume a corpse. And I'm just literally, this is just constantly happening. Going down here, we got 3 points for the damage to close enemies and the reduction. 3 points here for the distant enemies. This probably triggers more often because with Bone Spear, I'm definitely like shooting across the screen as much as I can, but these both trigger pretty frequently. Down to Corpse Tendrils, and I've just got 1 point in here. This is like my new favorite skill. And I don't even cast this. Very rarely do I cast it. It gets cast just frequently, and you'll see that throughout the video by the Malignant Heart. I'm going to show you that when I get to the items. But literally, this is just constantly on, and it's fun. It pulls everything together and stuns them, and then you can use Corpse Explosion, or the auto cast will do the Corpse Explosion for you. And we got down to the one that makes enemies vulnerable, and yeah, we got 1 point here just to keep that fortification going. I might put more points in here later, but that's where I'm at. This got nerfed. I don't know if anyone has acknowledged this. Like Googling, I see like a couple of posts about it. But this used to give you critical strike for every 10 essence. So if you do the math right now, if you put 3 points in this, it's 0.9 increased critical strike chance for each 30 essence you have when cast. So even if you have full mana, without having like a huge increase in essence, which there's a couple ways to increase it, maybe the 150, 200 max. But by default, this is only giving like 2.7% crit if you have full essence. That's terrible for 3 skill points. So I just put 1 here just because I wanted to get down. But I don't know if it was intended or not, but this is like a huge bug in my mind, or a huge nerf in my mind. If you got any thoughts, let me know. And then just points down all the way to Evulsion for the increased critical strike damage to vulnerable. Almost everything's vulnerable with this build. Nothing here. And then I'm using Ossified Essence because very frequently I have a lot of Essence when I'm casting. And just a huge increase to all of my bone skills, which, like, this build is almost all bone skills. So that is the basic build. No Paragon. Book of the Dead, I'm using the Reapers because, again, I need as many corpses as I can because my thing is constantly using them. And then in like a boss battle, I don't have many other ways to generate corpses. I don't think I mentioned it, but this is a lifesaver too. Every time you hit Blood Mist, you get like 3 or 4 corpses. And then the other way to do them is through your Skeleton Reapers. 15% of the time they carve off a corpse, which is a really cool concept. Skeletal Mages, I've got the one that will give me Essence with their primary attack, which is nice. And then I'm not using a Golem just because I don't want to drop any of my other abilities. So I'm using this one, which gives me critical strike damage. I really haven't dug too deep into the Book of the Dead, so if anyone's got any tips, or if I'm using the best, just maybe let me know. Gear real quick, and again, I'm leveling. This is not perfect, but this dropped for me, which is nice, because Blood Mist will trigger even more corpse explosions. I get mana back when I use his corpses. Vigo's bubble thing. Not too bad. That actually triggers in this final battle and saves me in the end. And I actually just got a couple of new items on this run, but I wanted to show you what I was using during the run. So 2 points in Bone Spear, some attack speed, intelligence and all stats, 2 to corpse tendrils. This imprint is really nice. You can get this through the codex, and really, really useful early on. And I would probably put this on a weapon or an amulet for that bonus damage. Like, my shards are doing so much damage. And if I could get this maxed out, that would be pretty cool. Amulet, I've got this one, which is, again, you can get this through the codex. If I put this on the weapon, that's a 20% critical strike increase. And because of corpse tendrils being auto-cast, this is almost always on. So it's just like a straight up like 10, 15, 20% critical strike chance increase, depending on where you put it. And then you also get that critical strike bonus damage. So that's a really big bonus with the Malignant Hearts. And the one I'm using on this is the Wrathful Heart, which cycles through attack speed, core and basic skill damage. Core and basic skills generate resource, and 20 seconds I get a barrier. So that's a really nice one. I've got this one, up to a 10% chance to generate 30 essence when hitting a vulnerable enemy with a bone skill, which is literally this build. This just dropped on another item, and I imprinted it on the ring. This is really useful for filling up my essence as well. I do need to work on my lucky hit chance, though, but the Bone Spear has a pretty high percent, so this does trigger pretty often. And then we've got this rare ring, and I didn't mention, this is the one where if I have at least 4 enemies near me, I get that automatic Decrepify. So anytime there are 4 enemies surrounding me, I get like an aura, and everything around me for 10 seconds will get Decrepified. And then this is probably, like, out of all the hearts I've seen, the Malignant Hearts I've seen, this is my favorite. Walking near a corpse automatically activates an equipped corpse skill every second, dealing 28% damage. And what I think it does is the order you have them here is like the frequency that it will cast those, because it seems to always do corpse tendril if there's not one out. And then if I have skeletons down, it'll usually raise skeletons. And then if not, it'll just like pop, like just frequently corpse explosion, even when there's nothing around. It's kind of annoying, actually, because it wastes my corpses at times. But it's just a really, really fun ability. And because my Bone Spear does so much more damage than anything else, I'm just spamming my Bone Spear. And then every time any of these trigger, I'm getting 6 essence from the skill. And it's just like, it's a really fun combat loop. Really happy with this one. I just got this, so this will probably be my new amulet. And then I will change the imprint on my weapon. And also got these pants. Nice damage reduction, so I'm going to swap those out. But I didn't have those during the run, so I wanted to show you what I was using. We're going to do a full run through. It took me a little bit longer just because I'm 9 levels lower. But it doesn't go too badly. I died just a couple of times. Yeah, so we'll jump right into the fun stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. Alright, so here we go. This is checking out the Capstone dungeon, the first Capstone dungeon for the first time on my Necromancer, who I just hit 41 with recently. Really been enjoying the class and the really fun Malignant parts. Like, they're just amazingly enjoyable. I am expecting I may die doing this. These guys are 9 levels higher than me, so don't expect like a clean run necessarily. We'll see. Definitely trying for a good run, but these guys could probably like 1 or 2 shot me. I'm trying to let my skeletons tank, but if they do go down, I go down pretty fast too. But it's been like a really, really enjoyable character. Like my first was the sorcerer. I've got a full playthrough on the channel, and really enjoyed that. Chain lightning is like a really fun leveling skill. But I gotta say, with the Malignant Hearts and first which one is it? It's Blood Surge is like such a fun skill up to about level 20, and then once you hit level 20, switching over to the Bone Spear. And yeah, it's just like a really fun way to play. Feels a bit overpowered, especially with like the auto casting. Like all those explosions that keep going off, that's not me. That's just like the bone skills getting cast from the Malignant Hearts constantly. And then like, ooh, I'm gonna die there, and I love when it pulls them all in and then you can explode them. Like, that's so cool. That actually worked really well. And, amulet. Bone Spear's primary attack makes enemies hit. Okay, that's what I already have on my weapon. That's kind of cool. And it's actually a really good one. That's better than the doubling it gets on my weapon. I can't use that till 42, though. But I'll probably start using this, and I'll put the imprinted one that's on my amulet here, so that I get the 20% critical strike from the corpse tendrils, which is a nice bonus. Cool. Yeah, I'm happy about that. It's got corpse skill, macabre skills. Yeah. Very cool. Look at this. I'm doing like 3,000 crits at level 41. Not too shabby. Obviously, I know, you know, at the end game, there's probably, you know, doing millions of damage. Like in my sorcerer, I'm approaching like 500,000, and sorcerers suck, so. Will you guys get out of this little room and help me fight the big guy? It's kind of funny seeing the skeletons freeze stuff, because they freeze stuff way more frequently than even like my sorcerer seem to. Yeah, that's not me casting the corpse tendrils. You see, like, the cooldown never really goes up. I sometimes will use it, but like, it's used so frequently, and my Bone Spear does so much. Like, my Bone Spear is 1600 damage, corpse tendrils is like 200 damage. So like, it makes sense to me to let these, you know, 3 skills auto cast whenever there's corpse around. It's like once per second they get auto cast, and then the Bone Spear is my main damage dealer, and that's what I'm throwing out there. And then, like, if I run out of energy and there's a lot of corpses around, I will usually then you know, like pop them, and that'll give me energy and deal a decent amount of damage at the same time. But for the most part, the auto cast at once per second is like enough to kind of explode all the groups as I come across them. So that's fun. And then I've got the one that auto casts Decrepify when there's at least 4 enemies, and I understand at the higher levels that'll actually trigger when there's only 1 enemy around. The one I've got is for 4 enemies. So that would be cool. So even on bosses when there's no one else around, Decrepify autocast. Like, I don't have Decrepify on the bar, but it frequently gets casts. Like, the next time I'm in a group, I'll point out what it looks like. I hope I don't have too much trouble with the boss. I remember the boss at the end of this dungeon was not easy. Not super hard, but not easy for sure. Let's get out of there. Hey, why are you hitting me? I'm not really sure. Is that a damaging thing? What is that? Like a light, that electricity? I see it sometimes, and that's like one of those effects the enemies do that I'm really not very familiar with. And I'm totally sold on corpse tendrils now. Like, I remember in the beta with the long cooldown, I was like, this doesn't do much damage, and you weren't taking much damage, so like stun wasn't all that useful. But having played to 94 on my sorcerer before they did all the nerfs to nightmare dungeons, and like I've been doing guys like 10 levels ahead of me frequently, I could definitely see how corpse tendrils, even though the damage isn't crazy, like that stun effect is going to be so useful. Where'd the guy go? Oh, don't kill me. Like, especially with these malignant hearts, like, you know, when I get to the Eternal Realm, it's not probably going to be as cool. But right now, ooh, one of those things. Right now, it's a lot of fun. And like 10 seconds not too bad. Like, it's pretty comparable. It's actually half of the time, you know, of the cooldown on Frost Nova, and stun, you know, I feel like is pretty comparable to freezing. And actually, damage to stun, I think, goes higher than it does even against frozen, or maybe they're the same level. I feel like I've seen stuff that does like 80% damage to stun, and you know, above 50 on freezing is not that common. But I could be just unlucky. I do have Ravens of the Infinite on my source now, so stun is a much more frequent thing. That's my favorite unique in the game by far. I mean, not uber unique, because who has those? They really need to adjust the drop rates on those. They are... It's like rarer than a Zod from Diablo 2. It's like they might as well not be in the game. It's, yeah. Especially for a game that lacks meaningful trading. Like, you can't trade those items. So, like, you know, if you find one and you don't use it, it's just such a waste.
I need more time.
I would love to get the Harlequin Fest on my source, though. But I'd have to, like, figure out what aspect to drop for it. It's kind of, that'd be a hard one. See, like, I can kind of target the corpse tendrils to, like, you guys over there, all the corpses are here, drag him to the corpses, and then your corpse explode. It's like, I really like that combat loop. And if I was doing, like, level 40 guys, my Bone Spear pretty much, like, one-shots just about everything. So this is, like, the first time in a while that I've had to really take this much time you know, on a pack of guys. Usually I'm literally just like one-shotting everything along the way. And with this amulet, that should increase my capabilities pretty considerably. Oh yeah, it's the quadruple fight. And I'm gonna have to like strategically use this to produce corpses. And it's just wasting them on the corpse explosion. That's great. That is the one negative, is when you get to the boss and you more strategically want to use your corpses, it's just like corpse explosion when no one's around over and over again. It's really dumb. So you really kind of have to use all of your abilities. Like I know whenever I do a bone skill, there's a chance to summon a corpse, and my skeleton summon corpses, and my blood mist brings corpses, so it's like really, really important to like use those when the cooldown's up, because I know I'm gonna need those skeletons just for tanking purposes. I cannot not tank these guys for long. Alright, one down. But I also don't want my blood mist off cooldown, like at the wrong moment, like right now. I should be trying to bounce these more, because my bounce damage is pretty high. Like I feel like the bounce might actually be higher than the initial damage. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's where having... Okay, keep the skeletons back up. Okay, I just get the one guy left. I can't remember. There's another fight, or is this the end of the capstone? Yeah, there's another tier. It's been... God, it's only been a month since I did this, but I barely remember it. I almost leveled already. It's pretty cool. I might come back here and do some leveling, though the Tree of Whisper stuff is really, really efficient for leveling, so I don't know. Especially since they kind of nerfed the experience you get from higher level enemies. I don't know if it's worth it. You know what, I just realized I don't even have my my finger. There we go. That extra crit damage helps. You gotta use everything you can when you're like 10 levels ahead, especially I'm only level 40. Before you explode all those, let me get some new skeletons. Stupid auto. That's the one thing, is like it's really nice just that frequent free damage, like, but it also wastes your corpses a whole lot. It is nice though, every time it explodes a corpse, it gives me 6 essence, even like the auto cast. So it is a really good way, a really effective way to refill your mana. Because if you think about it, like I think the default essence rate is like 3 per tick. And a tick I think is 1 second. So every time you use one of these corpses, every second you get 6. So it's like a 66% increase. Like you're going from 3 to 9 mana regeneration, or mana generation? I'm trying to think how you would call that. It's very late right now. My mind's not completely working.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm playing this Saturday night, so the ladder really started like Thursday night, though I didn't actually get to start playing until Friday, and I really... I've actually got 2 characters. I've got a druid up to level 22, which me and my buddy are playing together. We game a lot together, but when Diablo 4 came out, we both kind of like started our own characters and never really got to play together because we were at kind of different points in the game. So we said, we're both going to start a new character in the ladder, And we're only going to play those characters together. So that's my druid. And then I'm like, we're only going to probably play together maybe 3 or 4 hours a week. And I'm like, well, I got all this time on the Steam Deck. You know, there's other times where we're not playing together, so I decided to make this Necro at the same time. So I've got right now level 20 Druid, 22 Druid, something like that. And this 42 Necro, and I've maybe put, I don't know, like 5 or 6 hours into this character so far, and I don't know if that's a good... Ooh! What killed me? Shivering Night Pentient. That was painful. I'm not sure if that's a good time frame or a bad time frame. Like, oh, I lost all my skellies. Hopefully there's some corpses up here. Please be corpses. Because I know, like, people literally by, you know, the first day we're in World Tier 4, but those are mostly people who are playing in big groups that, like, not that that's exploiting or anything, but, like, working together, getting fed by your fans and stuff. I think playing solo and getting to 42, and I wasn't really following guides or anything. Jesus. That's the guy that... He just killed all of my skeletons. Okay. Okay. We're gonna have to be a little bit more cautious with that guy. We got this, though. I'm trying to think if I got any defensive stuff I could utilize here. I almost had him. I should have just backed off more or hit my blood mist. I think all the corpses might have been used. Just let him keep following me. We're slowing him down.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, try that on. Yeah, asshole. Except now it's on cooldown. Don't kill me, don't kill me. You just gotta move out the way. Like, have you ever seen the movie Prometheus? Where the thing is, like, spinning down and the one chick is, like, literally just standing in its way instead of walking perpendicular to the thing. Yeah, that's me. It's like thing that's gonna one-shot me coming at me in a straight line. I'm just gonna take it up the ass. That's just... That sounds a little bit more homosexual than I intended. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good about this build, and I'm probably not going to try to get into the 90s like on my sorcerer. My intent is probably to get into like the 50s to 70s, like wherever we get kind of comfortable with the build, and then I'll play the druid and get him into the same. I'm definitely kind of burnt out on the journey to 100, and until they increase the density and they make leveling a little bit less painful, I'm probably not gonna... I'll get my source there, I think, just because I'm so close. And it's not even that lengthy of a time. There's just so little to do. Like, basically from 50 to 100, you're doing the same activities. You're doing Nightmare Dungeons and Hell Tides, and that's pretty much it. And it really feels like... I mean, there's Uber Lilith when you get to 100. And they've talked about this, adding in some other carrots to chase, some other bosses and stuff. Like, they need kind of things along the way. Maybe you have a boss like every 10 or 20 levels. Maybe, you know, another Capstone dungeon. Of course, a World Tier 5 would be beautiful. I feel like that's very much needed. Because, like, there's no new gear from 50, basically, to 100. It definitely feels like, and I believe in one of the earlier betas there was another tier of gear, and I think World Tier 5, I read. And then they pulled it out, I'm assuming maybe for like a future expansion, future season or something. Like, when people start to lose interest, they'll be like, hey, we got a new difficulty level and new gear. Does everyone want to farm all over again? Big guy. I thought that was gonna hit me. All my skillies dead. Did I leave any corpses up? That would be very cool if I did. Alright, we'll make our own corpses. Why are you exploding the corpses? I wanted skeletons. You dummy. Oh, there's some corpses. That is one thing. Like, you're supposed to be able to put them in a particular order. As far as summoning, like, the auto casting, what it's gonna do. And it's weird because sometimes if my skeletons are dead, it usually makes that the auto cast, but then other times it just doesn't. It's like it decides it wants to explode all of my corpses even though there's no one around. Like right there, it's still exploding it even though there's no one in the area. Sometimes it does that, even when I don't have all of my corpses up, but not always. Like, usually I can just expect it to keep my corpse alive, my skeletons. Last enemy. Alright, and I think the boss is up here. So this is the big boss. And then we get to World Tier 4, hopefully, if I can manage this. What, did I die twice? That's not too bad. I'm gonna, like, get in position. Oh, I got a skill point, too. Let's see. I got that. I took something away. What did I take away? Though I don't really need the corpse explosion points for this, probably, but... Let's go. Look at that health go down. That's the bounce back. I remember I was telling you how much damage it did. And all those nice skeleton...
I need more time.
Don't one-shot me. I just need to keep the skeletons up. To keep this guy off of my ass. Hey. Oh, I ran out of potions? I didn't even realize that. That's great. I started the fight with no potions. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I have no potions.
I wasn't even looking at that. Okay. Yeah, nice. But that's only gonna last, like... Yeah. Okay. But now I'll start with potions, because I get them to 50%. Alright, we got it this time. We're gonna wait till his health bar appears, because I think I lost damage. Alright, we avoided it. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's get those. Are those bone spirits? Ooh, nice.
I need more time.
Just gotta focus on not getting one shot. Oh, is that the ballista? Was that the ballista? He's almost to the first breakpoint. Okay. Now he dropped his potions. I'm trying to line up where I can get him plus these little assholes here. And I'm out of Alright, we're gonna use this to get some corpses here, though actually I had some corpses up here already. Just get this guy off me. It's almost dead, actually. I say that and then he's gonna one-shot me. Oh, this is the bad part, isn't it? Let's see if I can decrepify him. I definitely need that one that will decrepify with one target.
I need more time.
Ooh, that was bad. Alright. That was good timing on that shield. I am out of potions. Got him. Nice. Nice. Alright. I'll take that. Yeah, so we just beat the Cathedral of Light. And, yeah, I was at 41 to start with, finished at 42. I don't feel too bad about that. Let's see what I got. I'm not really using any blood skills. And basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 4 seconds. Actually, that's not too bad for... And it's got corpse explosion. Yeah, that's totally replacing what I'm using. I'm almost all legendaries now. Nice. 20% damage reduction for 4 seconds. That's good for this level. And this, oh, I just got high enough. So I'm gonna replace this amulet with this one, and then I'm gonna take that and imprint it here, and that's probably my new setup. Yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. I do appreciate you watching. I may do a follow-up maybe when I get to the next Capstone dungeon, or if I change up the build at all. But I want to thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, drop me a comment with your thoughts. Have a good night, everybody.